Hey guys, welcome back to the Snapper Chronicles. And by the way, Merry Christmas to everybody out there. And we're coming back at you with another Ratchet video. Okay, today's Ratchet is probably something looks pretty familiar. It's an SK. This is the swivel head. But before we jump into all that, if you can do me a big favor and like this video and also subscribe if you find any of this at all interesting or even possibly entertaining. Okay, so we have here is an SK3870, and here's the patent number and USA. And this is a pretty long ratchet. It's 3/8 drive. It's gonna be about 10, a little bit over 10.5 inches on this one. And this one came in pretty good shape. Not brand new, but pretty brand new. I've seen other videos on these, and people have gotten them in pretty bad shape, and they've taken them all apart and redid them. But this one, luckily, was in pretty decent shape. Here's the handle. There's no marks from where there was a pipe or hammering of any type attached to this, so I can tell that it probably wasn't abused. And down here in this channel where where you're able to swivel, because this opens up and they're able to drop this head in, which is the swivel head. Usually it's packed with something, but this one luckily just had some a little bit of residue in there, and it was easy just to clean out. And funny thing here is that it was cut like at an angle, this channel, because up here you see how far that spot is where it was cut, and then you switch it down here and the line goes to here, and you can see kind of the incline there of how this channel was cut. The knurling, it's okay. It's good knurling, but not as good as some other examples of SK knurling. And my pet peeve on knurling is this line here. If it's all the way through and symmetrical, then we're good, and we can see that it kind of dips here a little bit and becomes, and then it flares out over here a bit, and then it kind of goes back in over here, which I don't really think is that great. Backside also, you can see here it kind of flares out instead of being perfectly round. The bottom is kind of wavy here, and it has kind of some sort of not smoothed out part. This, I won't say this was abuse, because usually it'll be black. If it was abuse, the chrome will be off. Here you can see it's chromed over this part that was kind of a rough spot. So, and that's kind of my complaint with this one, is that I'm not sure what era this is of SK, but this seems like a sloppy era of SK. I am a fan of SK, but if I see something, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to let you know that this is kind of not well done. So with that in mind, let's take a look up here. Again, these spots here, I'm going to say that's not abuse or any mishandling. It's chromed over, and the chrome is not peeling there at all. So I think that this is just rough metal that was not smoothed out at all when they were doing this ratchet. Here's another piece that's kind of just sticking out here, and more rough spots. Over on this end, more rough spots. Over here, this doesn't looks like it was bored through, but they didn't clean up the hole. And on this side, maybe not as bad, but you can see a little bit here. This was not smoothed down, it's just sticking up there. So what can I say? Not the greatest, and I would hate to do this, but here we go. Here's a made in Taiwan swivel head from Pittsburgh. You can pick this up for like 15 bucks at Harbor Freight. And if you look here at the metal, it is all seamless. None of that roughness. Everything is in pretty nice shape. Different mechanism than that one. That's a traditional SK mechanism. This I think is a fake com. They don't make these where you can tear down, so I didn't tear it down, but I can pretty much tell it's a fake com style design. But you can see the metalwork here. It's all good. So just as a comparison, I'm not gonna open this up and take out this mechanism out of the fork. I've seen people do that, and it's time consuming. Also, it's I don't think I'll be able to show it because I would probably have to put this in a vise and get a screwdriver or a piece of wood in there and pry it open, and it's kind of a pain, and I don't want to ruin too much the chrome here if I put a screwdriver in there, which is what I have. I don't have any blocks of wood. If you want to see what or how to take this out of the forks, there's a video. I think 357 Magdad had a video on this, and he shows how to take that apart, open that up with a piece of wedge of wood. And somebody else had a video also, and they did it with a screwdriver, and they just pried it open. But like I said, it's a lot better if you had a vise and you clamped it in, and then you were able to open this up and take it out. Here, I've seen these with hex drives instead of flatheads, so be aware of that. Yours might have a hex style screw. This one's just a flathead. It has this washer which fits in the middle there of the bolt, and I guess acts as a spacer. And this is the threaded side there. Okay, and there's washers on each side of here. You can see them there peeking out on each side of the fork. There's a very thin washer. And to open this up, it's kind of a pain also, because these are almost flat against these, and they don't stick out much, so you can't really grab them when they're sticking out. But if you have a thin needle nose, you might be able to get in there, or take a screwdriver, a small screwdriver, and get in there like that. And then over here, See what I mean? This is kind of not the best to open up. Let me put this back in. Okay. Now finally that came out, and I had to cut some of the video because it was taking a long time to get out. So be prepared to be there and struggle with getting this retention ring out. Okay, and we look inside. And here's the switch, which is basic. And here's the mechanism, which is also basic. You could probably fit any 3/8. I'm assuming you can fit any 3/8 SK mechanism in here, and you might even be able to fit those 80 tooth mechanisms, those new ones, in here also, if you wanted to go that route. But this, it seems that people don't like taking these apart for some reason, but they're not that difficult. You just press down the side that's sticking up and grab the switch and wiggle it out. Start wiggling, cover the hole for the plunger, and this is what it is. The plunger is a solid plunger, which is good. This is what it looks like if you haven't seen it before. Usually these and a lot of round heads are hollow. This one thankfully is a solid piece. Here is the switch, and the spring is in here, and that's what the spring looks like. Nothing much to see there. It just sits in the hole. And this is a two-piece switch. This switching piece here has been peened. It's just a flat piece of metal that's been peened to this round barrel section of the switch. Here is the pin, and the pin is a pretty short and thick pin. The pawl is very SK. Others have copied this design, but not copied this pawl. This pawl you will probably only find in an SK, this type looking pawl. And here is the housing. More pet peeves here, more not so great, unfortunately, stuff. Here's where they machined out a piece here, and this edge was just left pretty ragged. What else? Not too bad, not the worst. There's a lot of lines, a lot of little pieces kind of just left untouched. Here is the pawl. The pawl also has like these weird little holes in them, catacombs. Wasn't smoothed out at all. here where they bored out the hole looks like a little ragged. This side looks much better. You can see the chamfering there, and on the bottom more of those little holes from the machining that were not taken care of. And these paws have 3 teeth, and they're pretty thin paws. You can see there. Here is the teeth and more stuff. I know I'm going off on this, ain't I? But I guess I have to. The teeth, no abuse. This wasn't used that much, it looks like. But some teeth look longer than others. You can see here, that tooth right there goes all the way to the back. But all these other teeth look cut at the back. And you can see here probably a little bit better. You see the teeth. It's got that bad broaching. Here is pretty obvious. It looks like a third of a tooth or 2 there is missing in the back. Missing in the back. And then over here, one sticks out all the way to the back. And that one sticks out, but this one's was not formed well. I can just say that much. And it kind of gets worse towards the bottom here. Over here it doesn't look that bad, but over here it does. Who knows? Bad broaching, old machinery. By this time, I'm not sure when this came out. It's hard to date them sometimes. They don't. This one obviously doesn't have the regular SK logos. But I would say that this probably isn't that old. I don't know, it just doesn't feel that old. I don't know. But who knows what stage of the game SK was in. But I have seen SK in this state where they were doing this type of broaching, which isn't that great. So, like I said, could be age of the machinery, of the broaching, of the broaches, but not that great. And sometimes you see SK and it will be flawless on the outside, like the knurling will be perfect and the chrome will look really good, and then when you go on the inside you're gonna find stuff like that. But this one seems all around to have little flaws everywhere on the inside and the outside. Okay, to put this back together, you take your paw, line up the hole, take your pin, drop it in, take your spring and put it in, and it's in there, and take your little plunger with the flat side pointing down and the round side pointing up like that. And you snuggle that in the hole, get a pick or something and mash down the plunger. See if it's working. It's working. What I like to do is put it in the center, which these you can center them pretty good, and they hold. And turn this around again to where this is facing up, and drop your mechanism in like that. Now take your ring, get that in the channel, Now I usually have to get a bigger set of needle noses to put these back in, because these won't open as big as the mouth of the ring when it's out. You can use them to take them out, but you can't use them to put them back in. And today is par for the course of this mechanism is not cooperating. I guess it heard me talking crap about it and was like, oh yeah, now it's on. All right. Okay, there we go. Let's see if it's switching. Yeah, it's switching. So there it is. That's the SK 3870, and I gotta tell you, this is probably one of the videos where the Ratchet fought me the most in a long time. Usually I don't have this much problems putting these back together. I guess I was overconfident because, you know, I've opened up quite a few SKs, but this one kind of threw me for a loop with the swivel head being kind of pretty slippery when you trying to get stuff in there, and also this the walls there being totally flat there to get something in there to pinch these together. So, but overall, I don't know. It's SK, it's made in USA, but for the premium you would be paying for this, I'm not sure if the fit and finish and the insides are, I don't know, deserving of a premium price. So let me know what you guys think. Alright guys, until next time.